Mum's the word. The Edinburgh Society of Unapologetically Imperfect Mothers is here to brighten your day and lift your spirits with our unique take on all things motherhood. We're real-life friends, a special group comprised of women from across the globe who've chosen to call Edinburgh home. Together, we're a haphazard amalgamation of diverse perspectives and life experiences united as we try to navigate the often tumultuous journey through motherland with humor, unwavering support, and lots of fizz. Our mantra is radical acceptance and the necessity to check your ego and self-interest at the door. Keep calm and hold my Prosecco, ladies. I hereby call this meeting to order.
Happy Monday.
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you.
It's Lissy.
It's lovely and sunny. And it's Heather.
And it's Carmen.
Welcome, Carmen from Support the Makers
Yay.
Edinburgh.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Making her Edinburgh Society Mom's debut.
Oh, it's fab.
We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for the invite. I'm really excited.
Oh, we can't wait to have a proper chat. And yes, thank you for bringing the sunshine today.
It was glorious in Porty Festival when I left. And then it's rained in between. So I'm hoping it's going to be glorious when I get back.
Fingers crossed. I mean, that's been the weather lately. It's been kind of up and down, up and down.
Well, I put away the big coat beginning of last week.
Oh, that's brave.
Washed it, dried it, put it away. And I was like, see you in October. And then Friday, I was
that
like,
chance.
She's back. And I left the house and the kids, I was like, she's back. And they're like, and I'm like, the coat.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We
it
are
was
back.
freezing on Friday. And then Saturday was glorious again for parts of it. And then yesterday was lovely again as well for parts of it.
Well, this morning I opened up the window, the shutters, and it was all frost everywhere.
Well, so
Snow.
my neighbour came in and she was like, it's been snowing. And I was like, I've just been on the beach and it's glorious.
Crazy. It's just crazy, honestly. Well, Carmen, we are so excited you're here because we cannot wait for you to tell us about Support the Makers.
Absolutely. My baby, my other responsibility.
I mean, it's amazing what you're doing to
very
support
much.
local businesses and local creators. Please tell us everything.
Brilliant. Okay, so Support the Makers is my sort of passion project, which started back in 2018. I have a real sort of passion about supporting small independents. Growing up in South Africa, buying handmade and attending markets was quite normal. Seeing people on the side of the streets selling stuff that they had made was again perfectly normal. So I grew up with it and I was just really always around stuff that was bold colours. Both my aunts had really sort of amazing homes filled with colour, filled with handmade stuff that travelled across South Africa and the rest of Africa. So I always had that as part of just who I was and how I grew up. So moving here, I started supporting small independents with gifts and sort of filling my home with things that were all handmade. Then having my daughters, and both my children have got names that are not, you're not going to find their names on a plastic cup at Claire's, unfortunately. So my oldest daughter is called McKenna, and my youngest daughter is Peyton. Both names which are apparently from One Tree Hill. Had no idea that they were from there.
No.
But my sister was like, did you watch that program? And I was like, never came across it. How bizarre. So yeah. So my children had names that they were never going to find everywhere. So I had to start looking when everybody else was getting personalised pencil cases and things like that. That's when I had to start looking to get that for them because I didn't want them to ever feel like they were missing out. But I then started, for their birthdays and Christmases and things like that, I started just buying handmade. So it was always
beautiful.
There would be one or two handmade gifts or handmade outfits under the Christmas tree or for their birthdays. And as they got older, I kind of tried to sort of push that onto them, that a good portion of their birthday list or Christmas list needed to be handmade.
I love that.
So they would spend hours on Instagram scrolling, looking for stuff, or when they were very little, they would come to the markets. So it was always there at the back of my head that I was going to try and do something creative.
Wow.
And so 2018, it was in between one of the many dance shows that my oldest daughter attended, and it was like a break, that interval, like it was between the morning session and the afternoon session or whatever. And I'd gone along to a market in Porty Festival where we live, and there was loads of makers in there that I didn't really know, but some of it was really stuff that was mass-produced, and I was like, there's no way this is handmade. This has been bought and repackaged and put into pretty little bags. And I was I know enough makers that I've bought from in Edinburgh.
Yes.
I'm sure if I reached out, I would be able to create a market.
Wow.
So that was kind of like the summertime, and I'd also just started my new job that I still do, which is at Edinburgh Council in child protection. So I have a mad, crazy love for Christmas.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is just, it's a bit...
You're in good company here.
Christmas is just, I'm like a kid.
Oh, we're the same.
It's big and bold and garish and all the colours and everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
if it's not garish, it's not Christmas.
No, and like my grandparents had that horrific tinsel-y...
Oh, yeah.
You know that stuff that just hang in the ceiling?
Yes.
That awful stuff. So Christmas has always been a big thing. So I then started looking at trying to find a venue. So found a venue, reached out to some makers, and wrote my sister to come in on the Saturday afternoon and be the person sitting at the door. And it was probably one of the coldest days known to man. And I insisted on the door being open, and she had wrapped coats around her legs, and she was sitting at the door, one person, 2 people, 3 people, and we had 21 makers attend, and I had 300 people through the door.
Wow.
And I was absolutely over the moon. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, all these makers have made a little bit of extra money before Christmas, and I think I charged £1 at the door, and I made £300 after I had paid the license and the venue and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, £300 just before Christmas. It's not a life-changing amount of money, but I was like, this is something that I really enjoy doing.
And there's something here.
There's something here. I don't really know what it is. So I had a really crude, it was long before Canva was around. I can't think what it was called, but I created some sort of images. When I look back on them now, I'm mortified. But they worked for then. And I thought, well, actually, there's something there. So I then looked at sort of promoting it earlier on in the year, getting a bit of different makers, reached out to other makers. And the second one I ran, which was in 2019, had 35 makers, and we had 1,400 people through the door. And that one was a bit like, oh, wow.
Wow.
That was a bit wow. And at that stage, I had a colleague from work. She came along to do the teas and coffees, and her daughter had made something. So it was all very rudimental. It was very sort of proper sort of Christmas fair. There was brownies singing Christmas choir, Christmas carols on the stage, kind of like old school. There was a traditional Christmas cake raffle, so that kind of stuff. And then one of my colleagues had asked where it was, and I told her, and she was like, oh, I'll come along on the day. And she phoned me, she's like, I've got off the bus where you said, and there's just this queue of people. I was like, you got to join that queue. And she went, you're kidding. I was like, yeah, it's the queue to come in. And it was right down the street of Belfield Street. And I was just like, this is mind-blowing. So I knew at that stage I'd harnessed and created something. And on that day, I think the lowest amount of sales were like £600, going up to about 2,700 for a day. And I was like, right, this is actually going to be changing people's lives. And if I've got to be that person that gives creatives a space to showcase their work, then I'm going to just keep trying. And I'm very much a person that I will push and push and push until it's my last sort of dying breath, which is probably what's going to be etched on my funeral, on my headstone.
So it's so cool. So you're getting all this traction from all these makers. Is it it's across the UK now?
So I have makers that support me from across the UK. Primarily the makers that attend the markets and the pop-ups in Edinburgh are Scottish based. Yep. I do have a few that come up. I want to say it was last year or the year before, somebody had applied, and I want to say he was from Leicester.
Oh, wow.
And I went, I don't know if he understands this is Edinburgh, this seems awfully far. And he was like, no, people have spoken about you at my local markets. And I was
That's extraordinary.
So he's come up. I've had people, I've had an artist that attended, I did Connect Festival a few years ago. So there was a festival out at the Royal Highland Showgrounds, and she was a UK artist, but she lived in, was either Sweden or Switzerland.
Wow.
She came over And I was like, this is a
That's
bit bonkers.
amazing.
Well, Edinburgh is a bit of a destination, isn't it? Where
It really
people,
is.
People want to come. So I guess that it really fosters that kind of thing. No, it's just fabulous. So how did you go about creating the Portobello Festival?
So the Porty Festival, again, an idea brewing for years. My 3 big C's this year are creativity, collaboration, and I keep doing this. I keep forgetting the 3 big C's. Collaboration, creativity, and connection.
Connection.
So I should actually know this. So I'm very much
Those are good
collaborate
C's.
with people. If you find people that work with you and understand your mindset, hold on to those people like gold. They will have
100%.
your back regardless. Some of my best friends now are people I never knew 5 years ago. Some of them are my makers. I have like my sort of 5 or 6 people that they are my life people. They are my market people. They get me. They know by the way I post when it's time to check in with me. Like they know my sister is phenomenal. She will let me run and then she'll be like, oh, something's up, or she's awfully quiet. And they're just checking me. So those kind of people I've been really lucky to have the opportunity to work with. So Porty Festival primarily came from collaboration with myself and Seb, who is the owner of Seb's Urban Jungle. And we connected, God, it was in lockdown. He was delivering plants. He had just started up Seb's Urban Jungle. Yeah. He was delivering plants. We connected through Instagram because my sister and I are plant mad. And he delivered a plant for one of the kids' birthdays, and he literally just threw the plant because, of course, we were all COVIDed up. And he was like, "Hi, I'm Seb." He's like, "We need to chat about markets," and that was kind of it. And then he came along to the pop-up that I had at St James Centre. Then I got offered to take over the old Superdry at Waverley for 2 months. I think it must have been 4 years ago now. And I just knew that I couldn't do it on my own. And I had gone into a shop for another meeting, and he was like, "Is everything right?" And I said, "I've been offered this amazing space, don't really know what to do with it." And he was like, "I'll happily do it with you." And he was like, "But we're going in 50-50. And I was like, "Right, let's do it." And it just worked.
Fantastic.
We just got what the other one was trying to do. There wasn't a lot of, like this, he has a big business plan. It was like, we both very much will figure it out as we're going along.
Fantastic.
So you guys, you had your Porty Festival, the first one last year.
Yes.
So why did you guys decide to do it in the first place?
So we had worked together before. We've always had that knowledge. And then I had said, I want to do a festival. I want to do a festival in Portobello. I have been at North Berwick Festival, Fringe by the Sea, for the last couple of years trading. North Berwick is phenomenal. And I was like, because Portobello doesn't have anything like gala days, whereas my sister's been out like Midlothian, there's all the gala days.
Yes.
It's like, we don't have anything like it in Portobello. Why do we not have anything? And then I kind of had a bit of a wobble with Portobello Town Hall, in that another market organiser had come to book the town hall. I said to the venue manager, Kieran, bless him, who puts up with me and all my tantrums, and he was like, I'd mentioned to him about the festival, and he was like, "Why don't you go and deal with that festival? Come up with an idea." And I was in a bit of a mood, and I stormed off. I was like, "Fine, I'll do it." And I thought, if I create an Instagram handle and the social media names, nobody can take it away. Then I've got it, and it's sitting there. And it was pretty much a Sunday afternoon, pouring with rain. The kids were watching movies. I'd taken the dog out. I thought, I'm just going to message some people and see what happens. And I did. And loads of people responded, and I was a bit like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I'd mentioned it to Seb. He was kind of sitting on the periphery, and he was like, Carmen, this is another one of those crazy batshit ideas of yours. And I was like, it'll be fun, and he was kind of just watching from the periphery. And then every time we had a market at the town hall, there were more and more people coming to see the town hall, to find out about the festival. And I had held a meeting. Well, I think we had chatted about having a meeting and like having it as a trustees, like a committee of sorts. So it was more of a community sort of foundation. And then we had a meeting, and we decided actually there was far too many different voices. And I was like, actually, to try and harness what everybody's throwing at us, it might just be better that we form it as a company. So we agreed, and we just were like, right, 50-50, let's go with this, let's see what happens.
Fantastic.
And it kind of just snowballed after that. And so last year it was 2 days, 4 locations, 40 events.
Amazing.
40 events.
And that all came about so organically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was a bit bonkers.
And it's in May.
It's in May, so it's the 2nd and 3rd of May. Portobello Town Hall is our festival hub. So that's where the box office will be. But we would recommend getting your tickets in advance because last year, so many people turned up on the day and the workshops were sold out.
Oh, wow.
So we would recommend if you are wanting to get tickets, get them beforehand.
Fantastic.
So it's, the main location is the Porty Town Hall. We will have street food traders there. That's where our live music is. Then we've got the upper hall for workshops, and we've got 2 rooms at the back for workshops. And then we're also using the beach. The beach is going to be hosting the sandcastle competition.
Fun.
Obviously.
Wow.
Amazing.
So then we have sand competition. We're working with Keep Porty Tidy, which is an initiative in Portobello to keep Porty tidy, pick
Brilliant.
up litter. We're working with Scottish Coastal Cleanup, again another initiative to keep the seas clean, and Porty Energy, another initiative about being eco-friendly and being aware of how much energy we're using. So those 3 are kind of part of the festival, the sandcastle competition, and then we're also doing a flash mob litter pickup. So the plan and the aim is to have 100 people all picking up litter at the same time.
Amazing.
I'm sure you'll get there.
That's the plan on the Saturday
Fantastic.
afternoon. We've also got a fitness class on the Sunday morning on the beach. Just for women only, I might add.
I love that.
Then we've got the most successful event and the most anticipated event of the festival, the dog show.
Yes!
Okay, so we need to talk about the dog show.
I think we do.
I am fascinated by this. So so how do you get into the dog? Is it like anybody can bring their dog?
Anybody can bring your dog. There are different categories for you to check into. So you can check into the category. They changed it from last year. Last year we had like best dressed. This year I think we've got most like owner, and we've got like the best.
Like a lookalike.
Yeah,
Oh
pretty
my
much.
word, I love that.
Pretty much. That is what we have.
Fantastic.
And so you can book in tickets. You can also purchase tickets from the Dog Port on Portobello High Street. So the Dog Port and Old Man Grey who's an illustrator, are hosting.
Beautiful.
The judge is Becky from East Coast Training. And then we've got a couple of sponsors that will be giving gifts from doggy walking bags to doggy biscuits, a variety of lovely goodies. And that is all. So last year we had about 250 people turn up to watch the dog show.
Incredible.
Amazing.
I mean, Edinburgh is so dog friendly.
Absolutely. So that's why.
So dog friendly.
That's why Sam and I are both dog owners, passionate about dogs. And then, of course, what tied into that was we've got Edinburgh Dog and Cat Home as one of our charities.
Amazing.
Who will be at the town hall on the Saturday with an information stall.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Now, you are a woman of many hats, Carmen. How do you find the energy to, be so involved, so passionate? And, I mean, you're a mom. Where do you find all the time?
So, I'm not, I don't know. So I'm a single mum. I've been a single mum for 13 years now.
Incredible.
Raising 2 strong, fiercely independent girls, I must add. And I think for me the biggest thing is I want my girls to see that being a single parent and having mental health, because I've had mental health diagnoses, etc. in the past, I live without medication, which is quite amazing.
Well done, you.
And I also became sober 5.5 years ago.
Incredible.
So
well
I'm
done.
on a very much of this, it's about you taking accountability for you the only person that's going to be able to change your life. You have to take that and decide how you plan to live with your life. So I decided after a very tragic incident that I didn't want to be the person that I was anymore, and how was I going to change it? So it was things like stopping alcohol and just putting different measures into my life and thinking I want to be able to live without. I'd been on medication probably on and off since I was 15, and it's like I want to live without this cloud of medication. I want to live it just normal. I want to be able to feel. So for me, I want the girls to see that you can live I want the girls to see that you can be happy and successful being a single parent and having a mental health diagnosis. It shouldn't hold you back.
Agreed.
Actually, it's like your superpower, because it just means that you are strong and resilient, and I think really bouncing back from stuff. So that kind of is probably my biggest push, is I want the girls to see you can do whatever you want to do.
That's amazing.
You should not have limitations.
Incredible.
And
to find that focus.
Yeah.
And that, and to be able to focus that energy into so
That's
many
amazing.
different positive avenues, I think is absolutely extraordinary.
Thank you.
And a real testament to you, honestly. And what a wonderful example for the girls.
Oh, I think it's amazing. I wanted to ask you, I mean, so I could talk ad nauseum about how wonderful Edinburgh is.
Mm-hmm.
And
she does.
I mean, even the weather, I don't complain. What do you think about the sort of the community and what this is, and how does that play into what you've done?
Yeah.
I mean, is it part of what you've done? Because you must feel so passionately about Portobello. And
Portobello is my baby. When we first moved here, we stayed in Dalkeith for a short period of time with my sister-in-law, then stayed out in Preston Pans because her family had a house and we basically had agreed to rent it for a year. So we used to come past Portobello. Whenever we were going into town, it was always on. I was like, that is where I need to live. I need to be by the sea.
It's fab.
I grew up swimming in the sea and I was like, I have to be by the water. And so I've lived in Portobello, 20 years now.
Fantastic.
So it was going to be the place. Like, lived in Leith, absolutely loved Leith, but Leith was very different to what Leith is now. And now I think the girls are a bit like, Leith is way gooder than Portobello. But I've always had that strong pull to Portobello. I just felt it was a really good community. I wanted the kids to grow up there. And again, growing up, we didn't have a stable home majority of the time. There was a lot, even though like in high school, I went to the same high school, we probably stayed at about 10, 15 different addresses through that 5 years.
Wow, okay.
I always felt really that it was quite fundamental that the kids had the same GP, the same school, the same people at the shop that they'd known for their entire life.
Their roots.
I wanted them to have that I didn't have. So as soon as we kind of settled in Portobello, and then I had McKenna and subsequently had Peyton, they very much, there are kids, like I said, I'm like, oh my God, I've known that kid since he was like this big or whatever. And the kids are mortified by it because everybody knows everybody.
But I love it.
But they love it. And
too.
I think, I didn't ever think I'd settle in Edinburgh. We moved here. All of our friends were down in London, and we had this big push to move to London. We went down. We both had really basic sort of entry-level jobs that we had sort of managed to get. We went down. We were going to share a flat with somebody, and went to go and have a sort of a week, live in London, see what it was like, make sure we had everything set up before we moved. And after about 4 days, I was like, I can't live here. There's no grass. It's too fast. Nobody knows anybody, and everybody's just on tubes all the time. And I was like, I don't want to live here. So I knew then
that the rat race wasn't for you.
It just wasn't for me. I love with Portobello and being able to walk the dog. I'm 10 minutes from Newhouse. I'm 10 minutes. Jump on a bus. I'm in North Berwick. Can be anywhere in 20 minutes, and it doesn't feel like I'm living in the middle of a city.
Fantastic.
And that is what I love.
I feel like there's a little magic about Edinburgh where it does feel like this village,
really
where
does.
you walk
Absolutely.
around, you bump into people, and especially with what you're doing, you're building such bonds within the community. You probably can't go out the door for a minute without running into somebody.
My kids hate it. The kids, like, I will walk along the prom and I'm like, hiya. And they're like, you said, I don't know.
But I love that you've got those connections in place.
I just love them.
We've been talking about this, that, we've been sold this kind of idea that the internet's going to bring us closer and the internet keeps us all connected. But I love that these in-person connections and that you are literally building more and more opportunities for people to get together within the community.
Because this year with Support the Makers, what I'm looking to do is build more on sort of the community aspect. Yeah. So it's always been the markets and the pop-ups and the events. This year I've started doing networking events again, and I'm looking at, the guests that I have are people that I have found inspiring. Fantastic. And I'm wanting to share their stories. So for example, we've had Ailish from All Things Edinburgh. She came along and shared her story. We've had Debbie, who is the marketing and partner manager from Fringe on the Sea. She came along, and then our next one is Marty from Weebit Social. So it's just about people that might not get the opportunity, like I think you guys would be great, to share their story, because you don't know what's going to inspire somebody else.
I agree.
And I think the more opportunities you can give people, the more way. And I think for my makers, a lot of them are working alone in their studios. It's lonely, it's cold. You might not see anybody. You go home, you see your family, and it's a very lonely world. Whereas creating these events and creating sort of opportunities for makers to connect with other people is fundamental, because you just, again, don't know who it is you're going to meet.
Definitely.
That's brilliant.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think that's such a cool thing in a world where everyone's working from home now, and, our our little, in-person sphere is actually smaller than ever, which is all contributing to that loneliness epidemic. So well done. Thank you so, so much for creating that space and for providing all this energy for the local community.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming on our
It's an
podcast.
absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's all you have to do.
You've been listening to the Edinburgh Society of Unapologetically Imperfect Mothers, real-life friends from across the globe who have chosen to call Edinburgh home. Together, we're a haphazard amalgamation of diverse perspectives and life experiences united as we try to navigate the often tumultuous journey through motherland with humor, unwavering support, and lots of fizz. Keep calm and join us on our next podcast. And until then, Mum's the word.